I was like, say what? We have polar vortexes, crazy flooding, and they said it has to do with the gold? It's deeper than that. This comes after a government claimed that it's storing 4,580 tons of gold at Fort Knox, but that Fort Knox is a U.S. gold reserve that has not been audited since 1974. They said to Elon Musk, did you know about this? He's like, no. Let's do an audit and video it live. It gets crazy. Now all of a sudden they're flying gold from London to New York. Oh my goodness, guys, this gets thick. All at the same time, the weather goes wacko. Nobody can go in and do an audit. Something seriously fishy going on that I need to tell you guys about, because things might not be the way you thought they were. Important information that affects you coming right up. My name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. If you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most of all, news and awareness, stuff that you want to know about, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. Look, guys, these are the type of things that are crazy interesting. You put pieces of the puzzle together, you start fitting together all the coincidences, and you sure in the heck are not gonna see on mainstream. All right, guys, buckle up because this is about to get real interesting. Before we get going, hit that thumbs up, really helps out the channel. And as we get to interesting parts, tell me what you think down in the comments. But I'm telling you, this is a Fort Knox rabbit hole if I've ever heard of one. As you guys know, everything's been kicking off. Doge has been auditing everything. And over the weekend, Senator Rand Paul tells Musk Doge to check Fort Knox Gold. It comes after the government claiming that they're storing almost 5,000 tons of gold. They're painting a picture that we have all this gold, all of this wealth in America. And you know where it's all stored? Fort Knox. More than any other country in the world. Do you guys realize this comes after the awareness that Fort Knox U.S. gold reserve has not been audited since 1974. Are you flipping crazy? What do you guys think's going on there? 1974? Really? Guess what happened? So get this. They say Elon Musk. You might want to take a look at this. So Elon replies on X, breaking: Elon Musk suggests doing a live video walkthrough of Fort Knox to ensure that the gold is there. People across the country would be able to watch this live. Who is all on board for that? Look, what I like seeing is some transparency. And if you guys are in any kind of position like I am, I have watched a lot of controversy on, do we really have the gold that we say we have? Hang tight because this gets even thicker. Yeah, so since then, get this. There are reports of why are US banks flying gold from London? And we're talking about 8,000 gold bars that have been moved out of the Bank of England's vaults in recent months. Now, anybody with common sense looks at this picture and is like, you think they're probably trying to fill up Fort Knox? Just type it into your browser. You guys can find this stuff. It says, explained why banks are flying gold worth billions from London to New York amid Trump tariff fears. You're gonna find excuses left and right. The part to pay attention to is, let's audit Fort Knox. How much gold does America really have? And then like never before, we're all of a sudden flying gold like crazy to America. I don't know about you guys, but I think this is sounding a little bit scandalous. And you know what? We talk about weather modification. Is it real? Well, ironically, Governor Andy Beshear confirms flooding death toll up to 15 as search and rescue missions wrap up. Look, ironically, there's crazy flooding going on, so there's not going to be any audits happening anytime soon. You know, all at the same time as all the gold just kind of flies right in. And hold on, let me shake you guys a little bit. 8,000 gold bars. Did a little quick search right here. 400 troy ounces. Approximately, probably around 100,000 pounds. How many flights, how many airplanes does it take to go 100,000 pounds? And I think it's still coming in, while the weather is still just not cooperating. So yeah, again, no audits because entire Fort Knox area is under flood warnings. Okay, so you want to hear it get a little bit thicker? It gets even crazier. Some of you know that there's been chatter about whether we think that there's really gold at Fort Knox or not since 1974. But ironically, 1974, the same year they stopped auditing Fort Knox? We're talking about for decades, people have been wondering what really happened. An anonymous source said the Rockefellers were selling the Fort Knox Gold at like rock bottom prices to Europeans. It was printed in the newspaper. They said that the anonymous source was Louise Boyer. Yeah, it was their secretary. And guess what? She fell to her demise just randomly. I'm not kidding. How does somebody fall from their 10-story balcony? You guys know how it goes. Look, it gets even thicker. You guys remember the James Bond movie Goldfinger right here? Yeah, it was about Goldfinger robbing Fort Knox of the gold. You guys know who wrote Goldfinger, the book that later became the James Bond movie? Yeah, it was Ian Fleming, who worked for British Naval Intelligence during World War II, which people thought he had a reputation for writing books from real life experiences that later turned into successful fiction stories. Look, you step back, take a 10,000 foot view of this thing, and you're like, no one's audited this thing since the 1970s. There's all kinds of stories about the gold getting sold off to Europeans. You got a new administration that steps in, says, we need to audit this situation. Something doesn't look right. Listen, all kinds of stories from all the way back then saying something fraudulent was going on. And at the time of the audit, we've got crazy weather that happens that prohibits the audit. At the same time, we're all talking about, and there's a lot of buzz about weather modification. And how about all that hundreds of thousands of pounds of gold getting flown in from Europe, from London to the US all of a sudden? Doesn't it seem like something's a little bit off? I mean, seriously, folks, Kentucky, Fort Knox, crazy flooding. All of a sudden, places experiencing cars underwater. You start paying attention to this type of stuff, all of the headlines, I'm talking about weather modification, the control of things that you never really thought they had control of. That type of stuff is coming out more and more as bona fide reality. What I'm trying to say is conspirioso theories, they're at a record pace of being proven correct. You guys watch memes on that type of stuff, there's a lot of them out there. They're like, we've been telling you this stuff for a long time, and now all of a sudden, yes, it's true. My question to you is, what do you think's really going on here? Do you think all the gold was sold off? Do you think they went to the extent to protect whatever integrity they had left to fly in the gold? Because you have an administration now that's gonna like publicize everything to everyone in a live audit. Let me know. If you guys think this is as crazy as I do, share this. Share this out to people, because this is not the stuff that's gonna play on mainstream. To me, it's past just scratching my head. Like, really? It's further along to the point where I'm like, yes, do I believe they do weather modification? 100%. It's public now. If you look it up, could they cause havoc in one specific area? You do the research, and yes, they can. So it makes you wonder, how bad is this? Again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Make sure that notification bell is still on, because it magically turns off for people, if you know what I mean. Thanks for the shares, and keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing, guys. We will see you on the next one.